Well, how we doing today, boys? How's it going?
I'm hanging
It's
out, man.
rolling.
I'm tired.
Dark Soul.
That's got to be the best answer out of all of them.
I don't know, man. I got titties on my screen, and I
Go,
think that's a
go.
pretty good answer.
That is also a pretty good answer. But Dark Souls.
I'm
is
looking at magic
eternal.
cards.
That's true. Dark Souls is eternal.
Very true. Very true.
Let's see.
How are you today, buddy? How do you feel coming up on your next birthday here soon?
You know, with everything that's going on right now, it's probably just going to be another day in the life.
I'm just thinking about the fact that you're the youngest one here, and you've got the most adult life.
Yep.
What do we mean by that? The most adult
I'm not
life?
that far though. Only thing I'm missing is a kid.
You're married, you have a child, and you're a fucking realtor. What could be more adult than that combination?
I
of
don't know.
things?
All right, fair enough.
Work a job where I get paid average and do nothing. Just practically got done with a divorce, and am now rooming with an old high school buddy.
This guy just compared a
That's
normal
the modern
breakup
day.
to a divorce. That's
I was talking
crazy
to
work.
Aiden about that earlier.
Yeah, fucking
How that
felt
bitch
like
didn't
one.
deserve the computer, considering she didn't want to pay for
That's the.
her
I think
half
that's
of
the
the
modern
bullshit.
day
Did you hear
adult
how
life
they
right
died,
there.
though?
No, was it theft?
Pretty much. I mean, okay, so there's a lot of logistics to this, but basically, they took it while Landon was gone.
Yeah. While I was consulting with Sully and Garrett about the whole U-Haul situation, I went back up to the apartment, looked at my desk, and the computer was gone.
So what you're saying is we need to hunt that bitch down and get that fucking thing back.
No, I already said I didn't care and I wasn't going to fight over it.
I care. Fuck that bitch. She doesn't deserve good things.
It's okay. I got something really cool out of it because for me, he stole an Evangelion
Coaster. Yeah.
coaster. Thank you. Yeah, that was the word.
Wow, a coaster
I
for
also-
a computer. Hell of a trade.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah. But I can cut things out, remember, this is not live. Like
Everything I've ever
cricket
stolen
or-
is alleged. That's alleged.
I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm fairly certain.
No, it's alleged. Allegedly. Oh, but Sully, I sent you that bottle. They have it there. Next time you get vodka, you should pick up one of those bottles.
Oh, guys, I think I
I'm
have
not a vodka
it's
guy,
bored
but
the
I'll tell
woman
Kate.
I was talking to death.
This shit is so good.
You what?
Hey,
Oh, no,
Garrett,
I
shut
didn't.
up.
Never mind. She responded to me.
Holy shit.
One topic at a
Garrett
time.
trying to get pussy.
Garrett was in the attempt to get pussy and decided the pussy wasn't worth it. And now he's trying to be the good guy by making her leave by being annoying. When he,
Wait,
he wanted
what?
to
Not
even
stop
being
talking
annoying.
to her.
I'm not even being annoying.
What,
No, but are you
what happened
legitimately
here?
trying to
Please
get her
explain.
to go first? Like, what's it? What?
I mean, I'm just talking
Why?
to her. I just don't have any interest.
Garrett is 1,000%
in-
leading somebody on.
Please, like, I'm continuing to talk to her.
What made you think like, wow, this is not something I want to do?
She's
Was it
too
like a
religious.
whole?
She
Oh.
is a very religious person, which is not an
Yep,
issue,
that'll do
but our lives are not compatible because when she wakes up early on Sundays to go to church, I wake up early on Sundays to go to car shows. So, it's one of those things. It's just like, that's not.
I mean,
gonna
you don't
work.
have to share a religion with someone to be their partner.
That's true, but whenever their whole life revolves around religion, it's a different story. And again,
Is it
I'm not
their whole
knocking-
life?
I'm not knocking it. It seems to be a vast. She goes to a Christian college. It seems to be the very big majority of her life, if not her whole life. And I'm not knocking that. There's nothing wrong with that. Devoting yourself to a religion is fine. It's just not going to work out, and I'm not interested in trying to make it work out.
Then just fucking ghost the bitch.
I'm not ghosting her because I'm not an asshole.
You're leading
No,
her
you're being an
on.
asshole by
It's
leading
so
her on.
much
What the
worse.
fuck?
No, okay, so I should
And
specify.
Garrett's just like people I used to know.
Okay,
Okay.
then here's what I'll say.
Hold on.
If you
hold
are
on,
trying
hold on,
to be
hold
nice
on,
about
hold
it,
on, let me
Shut up,
explain
Garrett.
myself here. I'm trying to explain
You're
myself here.
interrupting, and you were doing it before we started this topic. Calm down. Explain yourself.
okay,
Fuck
do
you, Landon.
go, please.
Who's going?
You are. Garrett is.
You.
So right now we're in just the initial awkward, like, small talk stages. Okay, so this is not like a thing where neither of us are in a position where we feel anything for each other. I will not let it get to that point. Period. This is straight up. It's literally like sitting next to a stranger at a bus stop right now and making conversation until the bus gets there. Okay, that's what's happening currently.
How do you know that's how she sees it?
Because I'm paying attention to the way she talks. You can generally tell if somebody's interested in you by how they talk to you.
I would argue
And
it's
if
more
this-
like going back to the same bus stop and talking to the same person every day.
I
Yeah.
disagree.
Are you talking to them every day?
I mean, I'm talking to him today.
When's the last time you talked to them before
Yesterday
this?
too, weren't you?
Yesterday was when we matched.
Okay.
That is
Then,
more than one
Garrett.
day.
It hasn't even been a full 24 hours.
Then
so
it
this is a different one?
What do you mean this is a different one? No. What?
You've been talking about this girl for a few days now.
yeah, you have.
What the fuck are you on about?
This is
I
not
also
a
thought
group
you had mentioned
hallucination.
something. I didn't know that it was the same one or a different one though. But it seemed like you were talking about a one before yesterday.
This is the one. Maybe it has been a few days. Hold on.
Garrett.
Hold on.
He's gonna learn if he's been going to
100%
this bus stop
confident.
more often than he thought.
I'm fairly certain that I could go
Oh
back to
shit!
last
No,
week's
yeah,
recording.
You're right. Sunday.
He's been going to this
Garrett.
bus stop for a few days. Well,
That
I
checks.
say a
Sunday
few.
was when I matched with her. Sunday 6:27 is specifically when I've already mentioned it in the group chat.
That sounds more
PM.
right.
You, my friend, aren't able to control how she responds and feels to things.
No,
So
but
if
I'm
you
able to
have
observe it and pay
zero
attention.
intention of ever making this anything more than like just a friendship, and you're talking with them on Tinder for multiple days in a
I'm not
row.
on Tinder. Tinder's gross.
What are you on?
I'm on Bumble.
It's a fucking dating site, Garrett. You piece of shit.
Also
What-
gross, but more of the women don't understand that they're supposed to message first.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't. But you're talking on a dating site. That automatically spells the intention between both of you to possibly date. But you have zero intention of that now. So why the fuck are you still talking to this girl? If you want to be friends, then at least make that intention clear. But if you keep talking without saying anything,
Fuck space. This is excellent
then
podcast
eventually
material.
misunderstandings are going to happen.
We
Okay,
haven't even done our intro yet.
I will concede that you may have a point.
At the very least, you should just be like, hey, listen, I don't really see us being dating, but we could be friends. And just see how she responds. Because if you literally are not putting your intentions on your sleeves, then she is going to continue to think that you are matched on a dating site.
No.
where people
You're
date
right.
each
You're
other.
right. You guys are right. I'm handling the situation poorly, and I will concede that I am handling the situation poorly.
Okay, well, that poses a new question. You understand what's happening. Are you going to do anything about it, or are you going to keep going?
No, I'm gonna switch it up. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. I'll be ready for the next update that comes out of this.
Hail Satan!
Yeah, I am excited to hear what you're going to do
I'm not
to
gonna be an asshole.
switch
in
it up,
No,
as
you're
you say.
right. I'll be like, listen, I realistically don't see us matching, but like, or I realistically don't see us working out as a couple. But like, you seem chill. You know, you seem like you'd be a good friend if you want to keep talking, yada yada, stuff like that. You know,
And
I'll draft up something to send to her.
That's good.
I'm not doing it right now, dude. We're on a podcast.
Leave
Yeah,
No,
all
send
we're
of
not.
Pixar
It can be
didn't
cut
happen.
out.
Next 5 minutes. Send Pixar didn't happen, motherfucker.
I'll send. No, I will send a pic whenever. I'll send it to the group chat whenever I draft up this paragraph. On God, I
You
will.
could
but it's
include
not
that
happening
and
right
her
now.
response in
It's not.
like the video version of the podcast when you put it on YouTube.
That's
Just
perfect.
have the screenshot flash up.
Incredible.
All right. Well, you guys lead us into what we're actually supposed to be doing today. I'm gonna go take a shit, and then
hasn't-
I'll catch up in a minute.
Okay, well, I was gonna
I
say Sully
literally am
hasn't
going to
even-
shit my pants. Sorry.
You know, I can do the intro literally whenever I want because I am the god of editing.
That's fair, I guess. It just
Do it.
feels wrong to not do it.
No, I understand.
that we
I'm still
have
gonna like
a-
say, hey, we're doing space stuff, but this is the juicy pre-content content. This is where all the good stuff comes from.
Yeah. Now that we've addressed my horrific love life, shall we get into the meat and potatoes here?
I wouldn't even.
Shall
say
we
that
address
you're-
the fact that Landon had spontaneous need to shit instead of having any kind of idea? I'll be one, and I should be on my guard.
Yeah, on guard is always nice. But so we know how Garrett's doing. We know how Landon's doing. Logan, Caden, how are
You be
you
shitting.
doing?
I'm alive. I mean, nothing's been too crazy. Everything's just kind of stayed the same. I got a really bad headache, really bad migraine. I actually went and took a 15-minute power nap before getting here, but seeing as it's 8 o'clock, I definitely could have taken a longer nap.
Perhaps.
That's reasonable.
But that would have just turned into you sleeping all night.
That's also
Yeah.
true. I can't tell you how many times I've laid down just to lay down and like refresh some of the exhaust out of me and woken up at like 4 in the morning. I was like, oh, okay.
Son of a bitch.
Recently too, like within the last month, I've done that so many times. Logan?
I have absolutely nothing really going on. I still don't know if my sister is planning to come down to visit or not. So if she doesn't visit, then I really do have nothing going on.
That's fair.
I've
Did you
I've just
get
been
shots
playing
of
my
your-
games until I get bored.
Did you get your galaxy shots?
No. My dad's shoulder has been hurting, so we haven't ended up going out at all because he can't even really hold his camera with it.
Damn.
He's got a pinched nerve because of the number of times he's dislocated his shoulder.
We have tripods.
I'll
don't
pinch
you?
your nerve, buddy.
I don't want you to do that. That sounds awful. What did you say, Sully?
You got tripods, right? Use a tripod.
No, like he is in physical pain when he does anything,
I see.
and he felt like shit and didn't want to go on a hour and a half or more jaunt into bumfuck Egypt just for some pictures. So we're holding off, but he finally managed to get an MRI and hopefully to do the injection thing that they've done in the past to relieve the pain, assuming it works. If it doesn't, he'll have to move to surgery. But no, we haven't gotten pictures lately because of all of that stuff. I mean, well, I did get a picture, or a bunch of pictures recently because we were about to go to the store the other day, and a dragonfly landed on the antenna on the back of my car and just would not leave its spot. It liked that spot. So I went in, I got out of the car, went inside and got my camera, and came back out, got up close to it with a macro lens and everything, and the fucker just still wouldn't leave that antenna. Even when it would fly off, it would just come right back and land there, like 3 feet from me. It stayed there and let me get a lot of pictures. I don't know if they'll be any good, but they might be some of the most clear dragonfly pictures I've ever gotten. Now, when I'll get to editing them, I don't know.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see that. I've seen a couple of your old dragonfly pictures. I think I still have them saved.
I have a vital news update.
Go on.
There's a tsunami watch for California.
That was not my news update.
Wash that
Oh.
fucker away. I'm sick of that place.
Send it to the abyss.
No, my vital news update is about approximately 30 seconds ago. I just broke one of my glasses by dropping it on the floor like a retard. So
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm so proud of you.
yeah, now I'm sweeping up glass from my kitchen floor.
Well,
We out here.
fuck.
Oh yeah, I'm back. My shit was really good. Real
I'm
nice shit.
So glad.
You sure that was a quick shit?
I'm thinking about Officer Doofy from Scary Movie. Yeah, it was good. Did you say you shit your pants? Such a good movie.
Bro, there's so many tiny shards, which sucks because I'm barefoot every time I'm in my house, and now I have to not be.
That's gay. All right, so now that we know that you're all doing miserably.
Yep.
I'm also in the shits at the moment. But in better news, I have done so many fucking open houses recently that I no longer have to reach out to people to get open houses. They reach out to me.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You are the
Oh,
open
yeah.
house guy now.
Yeah, I have not made a single contact this week to get open houses, and I have 6 more on schedule.
You have to change your name from the milkman to the houseman.
The house man.
The open
I'm
house
so
man.
down for that. No, I'm the house man. I'm the house guy. You're a car guy?
I know a guy.
Well, I'm a freaking car guy. I'm the same, but I'm a house guy.
If I say I know a guy, you're the guy.
Perfect. You're the
Dolly,
house guy.
you're
I
gonna
know
be
a
my
house guy.
realtor if ever I buy a house.
Well, actually, you know, Logan did snitch on you. I heard that you're gonna do your taxes.
I told you that.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Well, me and Logan talked about it.
Yeah, we had
yesterday.
a whole conversation
I
at your
literally.
house.
You did. Yeah. But I'm sorry, I was in reference to the conversation me and Logan had. He told me more about it. He said you're gonna talk to Brandy and stuff like that.
No, I already talked to Brandy. She's like, yeah, bring your taxes and we'll do them.
Yeah.
So I just gotta.
Well, that's what Logan
Bring
told
my
me,
taxes.
so I just remembered that conversation instead of the
Hell,
one you
even
and I
my
had.
mom is doing old taxes. She called me the other day for my social security number, so she could file some old taxes. And I was like, okay.
My
and yes,
taxes,
it was my mom and not a Nigerian prince.
my taxes
Are
are
you
going to
sure?
be super weird this
Did you
year
double
because
check?
I have Coraline as a dependent, but I have to do co-taxes because I'm married. But I'm also an independent contractor. I don't have W-2 taxes anymore. So
Oh,
this
you
year's
have
taxes
W-10.
are so fucked.
W-10 suck. That's why
I-99?
That's why I stopped doing taxes. Was because of the W-10 that I had from backlots.
Tax
Because I
season
tried.
was always when my parents would fight.
It's not like I gave up. It's I tried getting people to do my taxes, and I went through like 4 different people, and none of them could finish my taxes. Brandy didn't even try because it was W-10, and she doesn't know how the fuck that works.
I just did mine through TurboTax.
I don't think the W-10
I've had one too.
is taxpayers' form. I think that's a provider's.
No, he's talking about the 999, the self-employment form.
The
Yeah, the
1099?
self-employment one, whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
1099. My
okay.
apologies.
I was gonna say I'm like 90%
I'm
sure
stupid.
that a W-10 is like a tax provider's paperwork.
Yeah, Garrett's stupid. We know this.
I am big dumb.
Yeah, I get
But yeah,
1099
I just had
plus a child plus I'm married
TurboTax do mine. Why'd you have so much trouble, Garrett?
Dude, I
because
went
he
through like
hasn't done
so
his
many
taxes
different people.
in like 7 fucking years. Probably it would be the answer.
No, it hasn't been that long.
You
You sure
did
about
it.
that, bud?
Yeah, how long has it been, Garrett?
A few years.
A few.
When did I? Probably like 5 years, I think, or 4 years, because I started working for Backlots in 2021 or late 2020, and I had done my taxes for the year previous, which is when I worked at Takamayo.
Nice.
Unfortunately, he lost all of his taxes in a tragic boating accident.
He lost
Real,
his
very real,
taxes.
very real. If they ask me what took me so long, that's what I'm going to say.
They won't ask. They already know.
They're just going to tell you to cough up the dough.
Well, beyond all of us being adults and hating everything now, welcome back to the Road Close podcast. We have my personal favorite fixation on the list today, and we've actually talked before about how much we like it, so it kind of fits that we would do something about it. But today we're talking about space, and you guys had mentioned that you don't really have topics for it, so we're going to do this like a Q&A style situation. I have a monumental amount of space knowledge in my head, and without Googling anything to the best of my ability, I will answer each and every question you have about things you don't understand.
Can we penalize you for getting the questions wrong? Like look them
No.
up and get the answer and then ask you?
If he's
And
wrong, it becomes the new fact.
Yeah, everything I say today becomes space fact.
We spread misinformation and misinformation only here.
And if I don't have the answer to your question, I will make up the most random fact I can, and it will become immortalized in the Road Closed scientific section.
I thought you were just going to say, and it will become.
And it will become. As the god of dairy, I will turn the Milky Way into whatever I please.
Can it please me?
No, you're the
Okay.
exception to the rule. If there's anybody going to hell first, it's you.
So I would like to say I'm perfectly fine with how you've got this set up, but I would like to point out that right quick, before we started the podcast, I Googled space news to look up topics and stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I was scrolling through trying to find a good one, and I found one that's not exactly about space, but has space in the title.
Okay.
And I'd like to read off this title for you. From ABC News 10 hours ago, German zoo kills 12 baboons that it didn't have enough space to house, despite protests.
It saw the space thing and it was like, this is the article. Hell yeah.
And then directly beneath that, a SpaceX aims for a late-night Starlink launch from the Florida coast.
So like, how can space-age technology save those baboons?
That's a good question to start with.
That is not very specific. Space age technology could mean anything today or anything you see in sci-fi movies.
I don't care. Just give me an answer, man.
Space age technology saving the baboons?
Yes.
Okay.
You ever seen Space Chimps?
Okay, so listen. Hear me out.
All right.
I don't remember exactly what, like, when it happened. It was a long time ago. But, and this is a little off topic, and I'm gonna go through a whole series of things, so stay with me here because this is space related.
Okay.
We all know the game Super Mario 64, right?
Of
Mhm.
course.
Classic
I'm familiar.
Mario, right? Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Even if you are born younger, you've still probably seen it because it's just one of the most popular games of all time. It was also one of the most famous speedrunning games when speedrunning became really big. Everybody speedran this game. I can guarantee you right now, you could go to Twitch and find anybody speedrunning the game at any point during the day. It's just that.
Hold up, I'm gonna
popular.
fact check him.
You fact check
You
me
said
right
Super
now.
Mario
Do it.
64?
Yeah.
Super Mario 64, you said? Okay, hold on.
Hilf. The silence is deafening. Is he wrong?
He does seem to be wrong. It looks like 2 streams of Super Mario 64, and neither of them are speedruns. Oh, and also the other guy is not even streaming Super Mario 64. He's streaming Fortnite. So 1 Super Mario 64 stream
And a liar.
and a liar.
I love that.
Well, so we out that guy on Twitch. Everybody unfollow him. Do not give him time of day. He is a liar, and liars never prosper.
Yeah. Never mind that I checked Twitch to fact check somebody.
Now, can we continue? What is Super Mario?
Oh, yeah. My apologies. Go ahead.
Okay. So this guy was speedrunning Super Mario, right? And we have proof of this not because he was just doing it on his own, but because he was doing it like tournament style, where somebody had like placed a bounty on this guy's speedrun because of what had happened. So anyway, this guy was speedrunning, and he was in a section of the game that's fairly difficult to maneuver, and they thought he was going to lose his speedrun because he wasn't doing, like, he had missed a jump or something like that. Something stupid happened. But unbeknownst to everybody who has ever existed, something immaculate happened. Mario suddenly teleported into the air, which isn't supposed to happen unless there's like extreme certain conditions met. It's a super hard glitch to pull off, but it just happened out of the blue. And this guy's world record speedrun is still, to this day, the world record because this cannot be replicated. What had happened was a charged solar particle from the sun came down and slammed into this man's console and caused the glitch to happen. So literally,
The fuck?
a charged solar particle gave this man a world record that cannot ever be beaten, no matter what, unless it miraculously happened again.
The likelihood of that happening is kind of similar to that old fact where it's like, there's a very, very small chance that all of the atoms in like a chair could just line up in the perfect way that you'd fall right through it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Oh, yeah.
like, we've never had that actually happen, but it's technically possible.
That's one of those things that's only theoretically possible until it actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
But because technically speaking, all of the atoms and everything could line up in the most perfect way if given the right amount of space and time to do so.
Mm-hmm.
You could just
Well, and so that's what
That man,
it's
he
super
fell through his
specific
chair and
too.
it got him a world record.
It's not even like, it's so much more than that too. It's not just it hit his console. It hit the specific byte that changes the height parameter on Mario when he's moving around, because the height, there's like certain sets and frames and everything with animations and, you know, what your character is doing. It changed it to the exact height it was needed to create the flying glitch that I told you about. So not only it didn't just randomly hit something, it hit the exact thing that was required to cause the glitch to happen. So even if a random solar particle came down and hit another Super Mario 64 speedrunner's console, it would still have to be specific to that moment in time and that exact frame and animation and everything like that.
That's a little
It's
fucking
wild.
Yeah.
All right.
So this leads into how we are going to save the monkeys.
I was
Oh, yeah,
wondering.
that question.
This is very important. I
At the
wanted to hear
exact
that.
right moment that they go to firing squad these monkeys, solar charged particles are going to jam the guns and make them explode in the shooter's hands. The monkeys will then have a chance to escape, earning their freedom and defying the man.
All right. And we just
What if it
saved
only
all
hits
baboons.
one of their guns?
We just saved a bunch of monkeys. Hell yeah.
What if they didn't even have guns, though?
We're not here about what ifs.
What if they're just euthanizing
You
them?
want fact, and I'm
There's
here.
a
You
good
fact.
possibility they did not even use guns.
I don't think they killed the baboons via firing squad. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
be
god,
real
can
with
you
you.
imagine
they
going
did.
to the zoo and you
Nobody
see
we
them
already said
blast
this.
a bunch of baboons?
Nobody specified.
We can't
Whatever
keep them
Sully
here. Let's
speaks-
just kill them in front of a live audience.
No,
Look, give the
whatever
people a
Sully
show.
says is fact. We
Oh,
already
yeah,
went
that's
over
right,
this.
That's right. We did cover this. Whatever Sully says is fact.
If it wasn't firing squad, you should have mentioned that. It's too late. If it wasn't,
It is now firing squad.
You've now forced those baboons to be subject to a firing squad.
But they are going to escape via solar particles.
Well,
And
no, they
rise
would
up
only
against the man.
theoretically
German-
escape if that had
As
happened.
a result of Sully rewriting history, Germany will fall to the hands of baboons.
No, I didn't say that.
It's for the best, really.
But anyway,
You said they would rise up against the man.
just the one
That
shooting.
is
You
what
did.
you
Oh,
said.
you know, I should have specified. You're right.
Did say that.
It seems we've come full
The-
circle.
the baboons will take Germany.
Hell yeah, fucking Fourth Reich baboon boogaloo.
So that's how that'll happen. Who's next? What's next?
Good to know.
Shit. Trying to think.
Give me a moment. I'm looking up things to ask you questions about.
Me and my dad were actually talking about, we were talking about mass, and he was kind of questioning how the Earth would be affected if in the future we're mining all of these asteroids and we bring all of that material to Earth, assuming that we're not, launching that shit off into deep space when we're done with it. This is assuming that we're just building up more and more material, and he was trying to kind of brainstorm how much it would take to actively fuck up the Earth itself in terms of its gravitational pull. And I hadn't actually thought about something like that.
No, that's a good question, genuinely.
Okay.
Although, isn't
specify
the Earth's
question a little
gravitational pull
more.
based on the core?
Yes, the rotation
It
of the
does.
core. But that's not gravitation, that's the magnetic. Gravitation is just based on mass.
Yeah.
Well, the
Technically,
question-
the only thing that would be affected if the Earth got more mass would be, God forbid, we pull the moon a little too close.
It's very true.
A
Well,
little
that's
closer.
that's another
and that
thing
would fuck
unrelated
up
to the
so
question.
much.
Unrelated to the question, and another actual piece of news about there. I don't know if you guys have seen the news about a skyscraper-sized object that has been being watched headed towards Earth, and it seems like it's gonna miss us, but there is a chance of that thing smacking the moon.
Speaking of the moon, isn't the moon getting further away every year?
No.
Moving centimeters away? It's
I
leaving
need
our
a
thing, isn't
specific
it?
question from Logan first. He had a question. We'll focus one question at a
Um,
time. About
I
the
mean,
asteroid.
a question about the asteroid?
Mhm.
You mean about us bringing material here from...
Yeah, what you had brought up originally.
I didn't have an actual question about that. It was just kind of an observation, and we
Oh, I
were
see.
thinking about, how exactly would that affect us
Bringing material
if we
onto
just
the
brought
planet?
a metric ton? But, and of course, we weren't even talking about that originally when me and him had that conversation. He actually posed the question that I didn't have an answer for, which is, what happens if we keep mining up material from Earth and launching that shit into space? Assuming that it doesn't fall back down to the Earth.
That is the problem, is if we don't build something that can escape Earth's pull, it's just going to come back. It won't go anywhere because gravity is too strong for it to go anywhere. I think they've actually talked about launching trash into space and how unconventional that would be. We'd be wasting more resources doing that than just getting rid of it.
What do I mean, getting rid of?
Well, like burning it down into other materials, like paper and plastics melting into other stuff, instead of just
Oh,
trying to send all
recycling's
that shit
always
into
going to be
oblivion.
better because we can reuse our finite resources. We recycle it somehow.
Well, that's the idea, is that it's better to do that instead of building a rocket to send into oblivion because we don't want the trash.
Yeah, I had seen a meme, and it was like, people always talk about launching stuff into the sun, but, realistically, it would be easier to launch it into deep space than it would be to launch it directly into the sun.
I mean, with the tracking and stuff they have, they could really send it anywhere they wanted to, without outliers. But how it would affect us if we were to just keep mining and getting rid of it, I don't think that it would really affect too much. We have a lot
mean-
of material on this planet. And I mean a
Oh, I know,
lot
and
of
that's kind of what I
material.
said to him. That's what I had said too, but it was just an interesting question of, this is where we would get more into kind of something you'd see in a sci-fi story of, how exactly would the Earth be affected if we managed to just go into overdrive and hollow the fucker out.
Well, so, and it's actually an interesting question. I don't think we'll ever really be able to get rid of all of the resources we have in terms of mining things, but there is one specific resource that is the most valuable resource on the planet, and it gets more expensive because we can't create it. And eventually we're going to mine it all, and it's going to be gone. At least we can't create it effectively enough to mass produce it. But gold, we don't really make gold. Gold is...
Well, I have a fun fact about that. Gold is not nearly as rare as people think it is. It's just the process of getting gold is what makes it so valuable because it's a difficult thing to obtain. But there was a research done a little while. There was a study done a little while ago. There's enough gold underneath the surface of Earth to layer it 7 times over. Gold is, we have an extraordinary abundance of it. We just can't get to it easily.
You are correct, but there's still a limited amount. Unlike other things that
I
we
will-
can easily create, gold is not one of them. Gold
That's
is
true.
created through supernova and like insanely high energy processes that we don't have. We can create very
I will
finite
say, though-
amounts, like small itty bitty amounts, but we can't create what is already here. The amounts that we have are dwindling, and even though we have a lot, we cannot create it fast enough to keep up with how much we're consuming it.
That's one of the points of trying to mine asteroids, though, because
Is to get more gold, yeah.
finding some with precious metals like that on it would actually give us another resource so that we don't have to use up everything that is on Earth itself.
I don't know that we
Which-
have ever made a process to create gold. I do know, like, so
Sure, they're
the
trying.
CERN Large Hadron Collider, I think is what it's called, Hadron or Hydron, something like that. The big ass
Yeah.
particle accelerator we have could create enough energy to make gold, but it's literally just particle sized. We don't have nearly enough power because gold is created in dying stars and like supernova explosions. It takes that much energy to create gold.
And it would take a lot of money to run that machine long enough to make any real decent amount of gold, I imagine.
May not have enough energy to give us gold, but it has enough energy to throw us into different timelines every time they turn it on.
You know,
Ooh,
part
we're
of
getting
me would
into some
believe that.
juicy things.
I really would
I
too.
like that. I like
I
that.
can see it.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up when the first time we turned that shit on was.
If it was 2016, I know what happened.
They killed Harambe.
God damn it.
They are the reason.
No, CERN has been a thing for a long time.
Eh.
I think CERN. So I can't Google anything. I'm not going to. No phone, no computer, no nothing. But I think CERN was from the 80s.
Scientists, okay, this is not what I was looking at, but on May 13th, 2025, ABC News posted scientists turned lead into gold for the first time, but only for a split second.
There you go. I have been
Fascinating.
fact-checked.
They're just out here trying to be alchemist.
The first beam circulated through the collider in the morning of September 10th, 2008. CERN successfully fired the proton. This is off Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt.
CERN is older than that for sure, though. When was the...
CERN, it was built by the European Organization for Nuclear Research between 1998 and 2008 in a collaboration with over 10,000 scientists and hundreds of universities and laboratories across more than 100 countries.
Nice. So if it's not the Large Hadron Collider, what did CERN have back in the 80s? Because I know they had something.
No, the Large Hadron Collider is the world's largest, highest energy particle accelerator.
That's
It was
not what I
built
asked.
by. It was built by CERN.
Before
though.
then or something.
Well, CERN had something
He's asking
before
what
then.
they had before.
Oh, I see. Got you. My apologies.
As far as I knew, the Large Hadron Collider, I think, was like built onto whatever they had before. I don't think it was a separate project.
The first collisions were achieved in 2010 at an energy of 3.5 tera electrovolts per beam, about
Would not
4
even know
times
what
the
that
previous
means.
world record.
Tell me what that means.
I'm sure that
Terra
is an
electrovolts?
unfathomable.
Yeah.
Terra electrovolts is the pure energy condensed form of the beginning of the universe. That is the measuring process, and that's what the Large Hadron Collider does. It creates the beginning of the universe in
Cool.
very small quantities.
Every
Measure
time.
of an amount of kinetic energy gained by a single electron accelerating through an electrical potential difference of 1 volt in vacuum.
See, Garrett's kind of ruining the whole I create fact thing here.
He is. Motherfucking fact checker.
Let's go back to this.
Speaking
Somebody
go back
tell
to
me
just
what
switching
CERN made
reality.
before Large Hadron Collider.
I don't know. You tell me. What did they make?
No,
Yeah,
I
You
want
can't
real
use
fact.
Google.
No.
What?
You
I
have the
can
real
just-
fact.
No. I can create the real
You
fact.
have the real fact.
I want to know real information here.
I also want to know.
I'm
I
looking
know
up.
they had something before the Hadron.
CERN's most prominent accelerator was the intersecting storage rings. The ISR, built in the 1970s, was the first hadron collider and allowed for the study of proton collisions. CERN also developed the super proton synchrotron, which was used for neutrino experiments and later as an injector for the Large Hadron Collider. So that's what you're thinking of, because you said the LHC was built on top of that.
Think so. That sounds correct. The name
I just
sounds
learned
correct,
that
though. Well, no,
they
you said
began in
positive.
1949.
The super proton synchrotron is
I think they had something like maybe positron something? Super positron,
proton
maybe?
synchrotron was a significant early accelerator. The 600 MeV synchrocyclotron was CERN's first accelerator.
What came after that?
After that,
There's something I'm thinking
Proton
of.
synchrotron.
yeah, so it goes in order. It's the 600 MeV synchrocyclotron, the proton synchrotron, the super proton synchrotron, intersecting storage rings, and then the Large Hadron Collider, which is, I believe, what we're using currently.
Yeah, that's what's active right now. I could have swore there was something different. I'll Google it later when I'm allowed to Google stuff.
Your will be fact. So
Yeah.
whatever you say is true, as we've
I
established.
do want to bring up something that both of you guys, it was
Well, we also
briefly
said that about
talked
space.
about.
This isn't really
Okay.
space related. Sorry, Lana, go ahead.
It's just
No, you're fine. I don't care. I don't get
Fuck
to
you,
talk, I
Lynn.
guess.
Okay, cool. Somebody give me a different fact.
The moon is, by the way, here's a fact: the moon is getting further away from Earth.
Hell yeah.
Is it actually?
Yes,
That
I
is-
looked that up because that was something that I'd heard, and then somebody said no, and so I checked, and yes, it is.
I said no.
That is
and
what I
say
was
is
going
fact.
to actively
Oh,
talk
okay.
about was, and Sully, you can fact check me on this.
I'm not.
But
can't
if
do
the
that.
moon shift, no, you are the fact checker.
Oh,
You are
okay.
the source
I
of
got
fact.
you. I got you.
Come on,
yeah.
man. Keep up.
But if the moon shifts too far out of our orbit, either one way or the other, doesn't it just completely destroy the weather cycle and just the basic cycles of the way things operate on this planet?
Yeah, I do know this one actually. It does because the moon controls tides.
It controls tides and weather patterns and shit. I believe probably through tides. The way our ocean moves
Well, the tides are the most
moves,
significant one.
controls a
funnily
bunch of
enough,
things.
I think the way it's not even just the tide, but because of the way Earth is tilted is because we have the moon. I don't know if it's caused by the moon or stopped by the moon, but we're on a tilt, and that's how we have seasons. And I think if the moon leaves, it fucks with that. So we wouldn't even have, like, it would be winter and summer or some stupid shit because the Earth would start tilting again.
See,
let's
now we're learning
see.
things.
We are learning things. I did actually know the answer to
What
that one.
type of cheese is the moon made of?
Gouda.
Oh, this is a good one. Oh, damn, he knew that. That was quick.
He was right on that one.
I'm
Yeah,
certain it's
goddamn.
one kind of cheese and not like multi kind. Just
there
Gouda.
different-
The
Yeah,
Gouda
are there
is the
different
surface
cheese
layer.
regions?
What is
Gouda's surface layer. What lies beneath the surface?
Swiss.
A sharp cheddar.
sharp cheddar?
Swiss is
cheddar.
actually like the thinnest layer on the top of the Gouda. It's like a very thin layer. That's why you see craters. It's because it's Swiss.
Mm.
I love
A
that.
lot of moon dust up there. Would that just be like a light dusting of Parmesan?
No, that's just
Um,
moon dust.
Yeah, no, sorry.
You're not the fact maker. Shut up.
That's just the shit crashing into it. In other news, my wife just passed her Oklahoma Real Estate Academy exam and is now eligible for taking the state and national courses.
hell
Optometric.
yeah.
No, congratulations.
What does this have to do with space?
Well, she actually asked me if the moon was made of cheese when she walked in.
Ah,
How does this affect
It's
the
all
moon's trout
connected.
population?
The moon
yeah.
doesn't have a trout
That's a good
population.
one. He's lying.
No, he's the fact maker. I think he's covering it up and making a new fact.
He's
You know,
definitely covering it
them's
up.
the rules.
They don't want us to know about the
The
moon trout
moon is where they
population.
produce the government bird drones inside of the cheese.
This is breaking news.
The final
Why?
inner layer of the moon is government cheese.
All right, Solly, I have an actual question for
Okay,
you.
I was about
No,
to say
I've got
we're
one real
abusing
quick.
the fact that
I've got a very important.
we're abusing
got
the
a very
fact that
important
I'm
question.
a fucking fact maker here. I'm trying to give you real space knowledge.
Why can't I fuck the aliens?
I'm banning Landon.
Not an important question. Garrett, what
Because
is
you're
your
ugly,
question?
and that's fact.
You're so right.
Damn.
He's so real for that.
What's-
Thanks.
Garrett,
man.
what's your question? Give me some real space questions here.
All right, so I just saw, I don't know if you saw this, but just recently, NASA's supercomputer was able to recreate, or maybe not recreate, but create a render of what it would look like if you fell into, what's it called? The black hole thing.
The black hole thing.
Event Horizon. It recreated or it created a render of what it would look like if you fell into the Event Horizon. What do you think that looks like? What based off your knowledge of black holes and shit? What do you think that looks like?
Okay,
It's
well,
gonna start a tangent.
so listen, black holes are my shit. You asked the right question because of any space knowledge I could give you, black holes is the answer. I know
Right.
full-blown equations, like scientific equations for black holes that I have no idea how to use. I just know what they are.
Okay.
But from the renders that I've seen, if I had to imagine myself falling into a black hole, I would say that it kind of looks like space folds in on itself, starting in front of you and going behind you. It look almost like you're closing a book, but then eventually it kind of just fades out. You don't get to see anything disappear, like the book doesn't fully close. Imagine you have a book in your hand and you go to close it, but you're inside the book. You get to see the pages almost completely close, but then they stop at a certain point and everything kind of just fades. It disappears slowly, like closing the curtains on an old movie.
I gotcha.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't that folding be attributed, at least in some part, to the accretion disk around a black hole?
So the accretion disk is where you get to see light being bent around a black hole, and it's everything that comes out of the black hole and is being sucked into the black hole because a black hole is spinning creates that disk. But
But is it like super compressed in a way?
Yeah, so with the way it's spinning, you know how Saturn and shit has rings and they're flat rings? It's kind of the same thing for a black hole. The accretion disk isn't always things going into the black hole or out of the black hole. It's kind of just a culmination of things around the black hole. And so the reason you can see it is because the black hole is bending light around it from other sources. And that is what gives you like what you would consider the image of the black hole. But the accretion disk is more just part of the light that looks like the book is closing. You can still see everything else outside of the black hole, but yeah, the accretion disk would be a big part of like, imagine the edges of the book closing instead of the pages. That would be like, the accretion disk comes off the edge of the event horizon, and that's where you see into oblivion instead of out into space. But only once you've passed the event horizon.
So I guess my next question then, relating to that, is if a black hole is supposed to be this supermassive collection of density and mass, and there's large gravitational pull and all that, then how is there shit that just floats around it like that?
Okay, this one's really interesting. Gravity is not based on the size of an object. It is based off of the mass of an object, or the density, as you would say, because density is controlled by mass. But let's say, for example, we put a black hole in space that was exactly the mass of the sun. We replaced the sun entirely with a black hole of the same mass. We wouldn't have light anymore and everything would still die because we need the heat, but our orbits wouldn't change. The gravitational pull would stay the same because the mass is the same, regardless of what object is in the middle.
So if that's the case, then how is it that black holes have an inescapable gravitational pull if it's dependent on their mass?
The inescapable is a misconception. It's not inescapable past a certain point, which is the event horizon. If you found, I believe, and I'm not sure I'm correct on this, but if we had a black hole the mass of the sun, The actual size of the black hole would probably be, I would say, anywhere between like a football stadium and a small town. So if we had like a sized black hole, it's small, yes, but the mass of it is about the size of the sun. So if you were to fall into a black hole of that size, you would not actually be inescapable until you cross the event horizon. That is the point of no return. Everything orbiting the black hole still orbits anything that has a cosmic mass. Black holes don't work like a vacuum. They don't suck things in like everybody thinks they do. It's not a fucking cosmic hoover. It's just another solar body. But once you cross that limit, there is no return. That is the inescapable part of a black hole.
I see.
I'll say one of the most interesting things about black holes ever since I learned about it has been that whole term about spaghettification. Just the idea of finally hitting that event horizon, and it's like getting turned into saltwater taffy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be wrong on this, or at the very least not fully correct, but isn't that because once you're that close to it, just as you get closer and closer, the gravity is just exponentially stronger.
Correct. You are absolutely right. And spaghettification is also a bit misunderstood because it doesn't crush you into a noodle and then pull you in, right? Like everybody assumes you just get squeezed into like a pencil and then get sucked in. You actually had a really good analogy with the Laffy Taffy. Imagine you had a giant piece of Laffy Taffy, like a fucking massive human-sized piece of Laffy Taffy. If you grabbed the foot of that Laffy Taffy and started to pull, you wouldn't turn the whole thing into a noodle. You would just slowly start pulling it into a noodle. That is exactly what spaghettification is. If I had the top half of my body outside of the event horizon and the bottom half of my body inside the event horizon, the top of me wouldn't be stretched like that, but my legs would be the longest legs you've ever seen, and that's where the spaghettification comes from.
I remember seeing something like that. It was like go into a black hole with an erection for a very short time, have the longest dick possible,
Yeah.
and then die.
Dip the tip of your dick into the black hole and then get away from it, yeah.
Letting it stretch out until it's the optimal
See,
size I want.
And of course, I know we don't have all of the information because we haven't exactly launched somebody into one of them to figure out what would happen.
Not
But
yet.
like I would figure that if any part of a body were to touch the black hole, the whole thing's going to end up in there. It's just a matter of time.
As long as you
is
can
that a
escape its
correct
gravity.
statement?
If you touch an event horizon, the likelihood of you escaping is basically zero. That whatever part crosses
That's
the
what I
event
would
horizon
figure.
is not escaping. So let's say, for example, I dip my foot into the event horizon. I'm not getting that foot back. It ain't happening. It would take an unbelievable amount of force to get the rest of my body away from it, but as long as I've not crossed that line, I can still get away. It is literally an exactly fine line. Like if you drew a line in the sand at a beach and put your body across it, you would not get away. Only the part of you that is still not past that line would be able to escape.
Which is it makes me think of, or it makes me wonder just how much force you would need pulling you in the opposite direction to keep the rest of the body from going with the foot, because it would have to be a fucking wild amount.
It would have to be more than the force of the black hole, which, good luck.
And also, even if you could hypothetically get your body, the rest of it, out of there, you'd still die because like whatever suit you're wearing to protect you would also be fucked. Like it's I don't think you'd be making it back alive.
No, there's really no chance. In theory, if I were to stick a 100-foot pole into a black hole, only 20 feet, I would lose that 20 feet forever. But theoretically, if I had enough energy, I could get the other 80 feet away. Anything that crosses the event horizon is gone. It's just gone.
Just so
I'm fucking muted.
Hey, buddy.
What if it was a really
Fucking
tiny black hole?
It would not make
What
a
if-
difference. The size of the black hole doesn't matter because, as we understand it, the physics remains the same. If you had a black hole the size of a penny and stuck your finger into the event horizon, you'd still lose that part of your finger.
Oh, I'll have to cancel my plans.
Now,
Yeah,
now, so you said that right as you get pulled into it, you kind of start this process of spaghettification. So, in this, this idea that even if it's the size of the penny, you stick your finger in it, does your finger just get longer, or does it like actually like the piece of your finger that you stick in there just fucking disappears forever, or how do you lose this part of your body?
So if it were attached to you, like if you stuck your finger into it, you would have to rip that part of your finger off or cut it off to not have the rest of your body get pulled in as well. So let's say, so you've got 2 knuckles on your index finger, right? If I stuck all the way down to the first knuckle into the black hole, I would probably cut my finger off at the second knuckle closer to the hand to make sure that the rest of my hand didn't get pulled in. Because it will, I mean, obviously it's the gravitational weight, it's pulling on you, it will continue to pull on you. But
I see.
to how you would lose it, it would just, the mass would be enveloped into the black hole like everything else.
I see.
I guess if
I
you
do
pull
have a
hard
little
enough
bit of-
against a tiny black hole, if you had more force than a tiny black hole, you could probably rip your finger off, but whatever's past that event horizon, you're still not getting back.
I was gonna bring up a question of, every time I hear some kind of description of read a description of things getting sucked into a black hole, it always has a way of seeming like it's a slow process, but with the amount of gravity at their disposal, wouldn't it instead be a very fast process? Like you touch it and you're pretty much done.
I think that entirely depends on the mass of the 2 bodies. If we
That's
had
fair.
if we had a black hole that's like, let's say Sagittarius A, it's the black hole in the middle of the Milky Way galaxy. If a star the size of the sun were to be pulled into the black hole, it depends on the speed, how far away it is. Like, it's all gravity based. So imagine a whirlpool you create in a sink when you're draining the water. The shit that's closer to it spins faster and gets sucked in faster, while the shit that's further away from it takes a longer time to get, closer to the whirlpool. If you
Yeah.
had
I should have specified a little bit better. Specifically, I was kind of trying to tie it back to the spaghettification thing, like, just because we were going all over these hypotheticals about how you would get the body out of there, realistically, I think it would go in so fast that you wouldn't have a chance, even if you could, in theory, sever whatever limb would pull you in,
that is,
because you just don't have enough mass.
yeah, again, I think that's entirely dependent on the mass. If it was a human being being sucked into it, yeah, I'd say it'd happen pretty instantly. There's nothing you could really do about that. And of course, in theory, not even light can escape, so it becomes a matter of, unless you can create more energy than the speed of light itself, then you're going in that hole. You can't stop it. But if you were to go ahead.
I was going to say, I can see what you mean by, like, the mass of things, though, because although we only have, like, one, it's still amazing because it's the only one we have, but we still don't have any real good images of a black hole aside from the one that we've gotten within the last few years, which kind of just looks more like an orange smudge with how hard it is to get pictures of. But, we have seen, at least through our various instruments that we use to observe space, we've seen black holes eating up stars before, and they would have comparable, or I'll just say comparable mass, and so they don't die immediately because all of that material that the black hole is sucking up might be going into the black hole, but it's also still, they're playing tug of war with it between the black hole and the core of whatever star it's eating. So I could see how the mass would affect how fast something gets consumed.
Yeah, you would be correct. There's a lot of renderings you'll see where, like, a star comes near and it like the star grows a tail that's slowly being pulled into the black hole. It's really interesting to see it because the way gravity works around the black hole, like you mentioned earlier, does seem very exponential. So one side of the star that's closest to the black hole is getting pulled on 10 times harder than the other side of the star, which is what creates the breaking apart of the objects. Like the renderings of the stars you see where it's literally eating like a vampire, they call it vampire. It is a slow burn, but eventually, I mean, if you're caught into a system like that without enough mass, you could theoretically slingshot away from the black hole with enough mass and speed, but anything that gets closer is getting sucked in for sure. It just depends on how big both objects are. But you've got it right. You are on the
I
right
hadn't
track.
even thought about the slingshotting effects of gravity, which we see that in science fiction. I won't say extremely often, but it's not exactly a rare to slingshot off of stars. A little more rare with black holes, but wasn't that a plot in Interstellar?
Oh, don't get me started on Interstellar. You want to know something? The black hole Gargantua in Interstellar is still the most accurate scientific rendering of a black hole that has ever existed, and still to this day.
Such a good movie.
Gargantua took like 100 hours to render each frame of the black hole because they were rendering accurate physics and light bending and particles and everything like that. Everything was completely accurate to how science equations would have a black hole. So it is to
God
this day
damn.
the most there is more rendering that took place on that one black hole alone than there is in the entire Transformers franchise.
Jesus. It's
Which
just
is crazy because Devastator bricked like 9 separate fucking computers to get rendered.
Yeah.
it deserves it though. Black holes are so cool. They deserve.
Every frame of that black hole took 100 hours to render. Some taking even longer than that. And I think I could be wrong about this because, again, I can't look it up, but the black hole alone, without the rest of the movie, generated somewhere of like 800 plus terabytes of data.
Yeah, I could see it honestly.
Yeah, same.
Knowing how long it took to render and all that, I could definitely see it taking 9 terabytes.
That one rendering is still used by scientists to this day.
It's kind of like Jurassic Park and being still the most accurate representation of dinosaurs that we've technically had in a movie, and that advanced our concept of it in a way. It's so cool. I wonder just how many people that movie has inspired to make space their special interest.
Well, I was one of them, so it's
A
working.
lot. Yeah.
I didn't watch it until I think high school,
That movie
didn't
and I
watch it
already
until
had the
school.
special interest. I'm trying to think if there was a different topic that was related. Do you
got
guys
one.
have one?
I do. The James Webb Telescope discovered what many people believe to be the farthest away planet that we've ever been able to see, and some people believe it to be I can't remember. Give me a second. I'll look this up and get like an actual. Oh yeah. So the James Webb Space Telescope has found the most distant galaxy ever seen at the dawn of the cosmos. Your thoughts and opinions on that?
My thoughts and opinions on the planet, the distance, or the dawn of the cosmos.
I mean, the James
All the
Webb
above?
Telescope being able to see it.
Okay, so the way the JWST works is not like a camera lens like the Hubble. The JWST renders wavelength information, so like light is a wavelength and color is dependent on the size of the waves. We understand this, right? The JWST infrared is one of them, yes. It records everything. So infrared, gamma, light, every wavelength spectrum is what comes into the JWST. It's not like a camera that Logan would use. It is more specific for stuff like that, and that's why it can see so far, is because light itself is a wavelength. And let's give you an example for the dawn of the cosmos. We call it that because the wavelengths are so far away and we can determine how old they are, right? That's how we have determined how old we think the universe is, because of how far away those wavelengths are. At what we call the edge of the observable universe, things start to redshift, which is why we call it the observable universe. we can't see anything beyond this point because it starts switching from the infrared and like red color spectrum. It goes from red into the infrared in the lower wavelengths. Eventually, the wavelengths get so low that we can't see anything anymore because of how long they've traveled. So there literally is a visible edge to what we can see in the universe because the wavelengths shift so much that they become not light anymore.
So I know you're explaining something else, but on this topic, there was a video that I had seen is either earlier today or in the last week, and talking about wavelengths and how far they travel, in the possibility that light could travel forever and ever and ever and ever. If there is other life forms out there, anytime that they would look at us, they wouldn't necessarily see us. Like if they were at one of our closest galaxies, if they were to
Andromeda.
look at us, yes, they would see World War II going on. Who the fuck would want to come say hi during World War II?
Well, so
And the farther that you get, whenever they would look at us, they would see like dinosaurs and things that aren't us because what's happening now hasn't traveled that far yet.
yes,
We were actually talking about that the other day. That's
were,
what, or the time
so
to and light travel.
because light is the
Like I
fastest
know you
thing
were
that we
explaining
have.
something else.
No,
but
this has
you were
this
going down that
completely aligns
path.
with it, yeah. The red shifting only happens after light has traveled so far. With the way we can observe things, we call them light years because that's how many years it takes for light to travel a certain distance. So let's say, for instance, you had the ability to travel faster than light, or the ability we're trying to work on in actual science is folding space, more specifically wormholes and stuff like that. The idea is instead of traveling across that space, we can fold it to where we can get to another point instantly. So let's just say we have the ability to do that, and we can fold space instantly between you and the Andromeda galaxy. So now you're in the Andromeda, and you can point a telescope at Earth and look at what's going on. The light that's coming from you and me right now hasn't made it out of our solar system yet, let alone all the way to that galaxy. They will eventually see us because the light is still traveling, but they're not going to see us instantly because light can't move that fast. It's insane how fast light actually travels. To get
You would look
from
back in that telescope and see your fucking ancestors still doing their thing while you're off in another galaxy.
to give you an example of how big space is, I know you've heard this before, but I want you to really let it sink in. We know that light is the fastest thing in existence, and nothing can reach the energy and speed that light can, right? It still takes 8 minutes for light to get from the sun to Earth. So we're never going to see the sun as it is. We're seeing it 8 minutes ago. If it takes 8 full minutes for it to travel from the sun to us, which is one of the closest things in proximity to us cosmic-wise, just imagine how fast, or like, if you zoom out on the universe, you'll see just how slow light actually is, which is insane.
It's fast. It's very fast, but speed doesn't matter in an infinite space.
It is
Like,
the
it's
fastest thing that we understand, and it is still slow in comparison to the cosmos.
we were talking about this in context to the star.
is-
Again, I don't know if this Betelgeuse
Betelgeuse, yeah.
is the name that it's well known as, or pronounced as. There was information about how it could create a supernova anytime within the next few centuries, but we're more than likely not going to know anything about that until it actively happens, because that star is still, I believe the number was 640 light years away from us,
Something very similar to
which
that.
means
Something close.
the Betelgeuse could have already, the supernova could have already happened. We're not going to know potentially hundreds of years. And it's an amount of light that when it does reach us, once that event happens, it will be visible on Earth in the middle of the day. Like, it won't be a hazard to our safety, but it will be fully visible in smack dab in the middle of the day. So it is a huge amount of light. and energy, but that light would have to travel for 640 years before we even know about it,
Correct.
which is just wild to think about. Like, light is very fast, but still, it it would take centuries for some of the closer stars to reach us in terms of light.
You know what's even crazier than that? Which is completely off topic, but kind of aligns with what we're talking about.
Hmm.
The cathedral in Cologne, Germany, still took longer to build than it would take light to reach us from Betelgeuse.
Oh yeah,
Wild.
they're not finished with it yet, but they're just about. I think it's supposed to be done by the end of this year or early next year, from what I understand with that cathedral.
I think you're thinking of a different cathedral. The Cologne's been up
Sagrada
for
Familia.
years.
It's the Sagrada. That's the most famous one that's been under construction for I don't even know how long, but it's still under construction.
I don't know anything about that.
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, it doesn't align with the space facts, but
Yeah,
I'll have to.
Sagrada Familia. Okay, yeah. I was thinking of Sagrada Familia, which is the oldest active construction project on the planet.
How long's that been going on?
143 years ago, Bishop Yerquini, I'm not gonna try to say that name, laid the cornerstone for the temple of what would become one of the most ambitious and defining architectural. Yeah, so this has been going. This has been an active, ongoing project for 143 years, and will be completed next year. Slated to finish next year.
That's crazy.
It's a massive cathedral.
The Cologne Cathedral, it took like fucking 700 years or some shit like that.
It's
Or
it's
like
just
600 something years, somewhere between 6 and 700 years to build that cathedral.
Was
it's
that the same
difficult
one
to
that
even
burned?
imagine that amount of time.
No,
And then they
that
had to
was-
rebuild?
That was Notre Dame.
Hmm.
You want to know something wild about Notre Dame?
Sure.
What is it?
The rebuild of Notre Dame was only possible because of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh,
them
yeah,
talking
I do.
about that.
Assassin's Creed had such an accurate, like down to the most minute detail depiction of the Notre Dame that it's the only reason they were capable of rebuilding it. They used Assassin's Creed to rebuild the cathedral.
The
Back
Cologne
when
Cathedral.
Assassin's Creed was still good.
Yeah, right. The
Oh, and I
Cologne
believe they
Cathedral,
like
which be
actually scanned it, like with like cameras and shit, to get every little nook and cranny and crack.
They did a lot of scans.
so the Cologne
Uh,
Cathedral, the construction begun in 1248, and it took place in several stages and was not completed until 1880. So over 700 years.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, it's not the only building. I mean, there's plenty of buildings that have taken more than 500 years to build.
But basically, if Beetlejuice had gone supernova when they started that cathedral, the spectacle
They
and all
would
of
have
the
seen
light
it
would have
before they
reached
were
Earth
done.
before they finished.
That's insane. Even if all of them lived to be 100 years old, which I'm sure they didn't, that's still 7 generations of people building that fucking thing.
The
Dedication.
whole generational thing is another problem. If we didn't find a way to fold space and travel through some kind of wormhole, you would have to set up, if we ever wanted a colony outside of, Mars, we would have to set up a ship capable of supporting multiple generations, or, we'd need some real good cryogenic storage.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say even being completely frozen doesn't halt the aging process, but I think that if it doesn't completely halt it, it gets very close, as we're seeing with old and horrible things thawing in the Siberian permafrost. So it would be possible if you froze them, but maybe. We don't know how that would affect human consciousness or the brain, which would be a whole other problem, but if you can't freeze people, just getting to any of the other close systems, which, by the way, we don't see any that are particularly close that even seem capable of supporting life as we know it. So we'd have to look even further. You would need something capable of just an unfathomable number of generations worth of support just to get them from point A to point B.
And that
And it
is
makes the idea of space travel insurmountable, almost.
not even hardly comparable to the actual size of space.
Yeah.
All the shit we're talking about right now with
a drop in the
generational
ocean.
shit is literally within the same galaxy. Not even far away in the same galaxy. 640
relatively
light years.
very close.
The Milky Way is 100,000 light years in diameter.
And I don't even know how long that would take to travel. I don't know how long it would take to travel light with our fastest propulsion. Have they? I'm sure they've done the calculations. I've never seen them.
I'll do the calculations right now. To get there by private jet, it would take approximately 4 NFL seasons.
What is the fastest, or I guess, what is the closest we've been able to get to light speed? That's something I'm curious about.
Human beings in travel or things that we can speed up?
Things that we can speed up, I guess. Like, what is the fastest technology we've been able... What is the fastest we've been able to shove a piece of matter?
So the fastest thing we have is the Large Hadron Particle Accelerator. We can accelerate particles like 99.999 something continuing to the speed of light, but not exactly the speed of light. The reason the Large Hadron Collider exists is to simulate what it would be like at the beginning of the universe, and so we can better understand space. We literally are trying to understand the cosmos by accelerating particles we can't even see. For human travel, I have no idea. My fact would say the SR-71 Blackbird.
I think the Concorde, isn't it?
I'm sure there's spacecraft that are faster, but I am choosing the SR-71 Blackbird.
Well, the thing to take into consideration with spacecraft is that operating in a vacuum, you don't have to deal with wind resistance when factoring in how fast you could possibly go. Because, I mean, there's really nothing slowing you down to move faster. You'll just stay at that speed unless you have, like, a maneuvering thruster that can slow you down.
So,
I mean,
the fastest speed a human has ever traveled is 24,816 miles per hour. And that was achieved by the crew of the Apollo 10 mission returning from the moon on May 26, 1969. Meaning, the fastest we've ever traveled was with the help of gravity.
And how fast was that?
24,816.1 miles per hour.
Incredible. Well, I have bad news. The speed of light is like 650 million plus miles per hour, so we got a ways to go. I don't actually know the exact number on that one, but it's up there.
Yeah, it's so one light speed is equivalent to 6.706 e plus 8, according to this thing.
So on December 24th, 2024, NASA's Parker Solar Probe traveled at the fastest speed that any human-made object has ever traveled, clocking in at a zippy 430,000 miles per hour on its closest approach to the solar surface relative to the sun.
And that is equivalent to 0.00412 for the speed of light.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We can get nowhere near the speed of light.
Yeah, not even close. Except for particle acceleration.
We can't even manage to get to 0.001. Like, it's a nearly unfathomable speed.
Dude, actually, I want to talk real quick about what Caden just said, because that 400,000 miles an hour is fucking insane. Because before that, the alleged fastest man-made thing ever was the manhole cover that fucking exploded during a nuclear test in 57. And that went approximately 125,000 miles an hour.
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
Up until December of last year, the fastest thing that we've ever created went 125,000 miles an hour, and then last year something went 400,000 miles an hour. That's insane. That's more than double the speed of the last fastest thing.
I have a very brief conspiracy theory.
Go ahead.
Have you guys seen the stuff I talked about at brief? But have you seen the news about supposedly some scientists have claimed that there is potentially a hostile alien spacecraft that could be here by November?
Saw that. Yeah.
They're
What if they're
distracting us
coming
from
here
the
because
Epstein
that?
files.
No, I see. That was what I thought
Yes.
too. But
Real.
what I was
That's
gonna
real.
say, part of my conspiracy theory. What if they're coming here pissed off because our manhole cover hit their planet at Mach fuck and they're pissed?
We
I think-
eliminated
I think
by
we still
accident
track
like
that manhole
half of
cover.
their population.
I hope so. I want to know where it
Here,
is
I'll
right
look it
now.
up. I'll look up and see if we know where the nuclear manhole cover is.
I love the idea that there is the equivalent kinetic potential WMD in a manhole cover.
No, the exact location of the manhole cover launched during the Operation Plum Bob nuclear test is unknown.
It's possible.
Probably burnt up in the atmosphere as it ascended, is what this just said.
There's a good chance it did, but I
There
like to
is
think
a
it's
very
somewhere
good
out
chance.
there on the
But-
prowl to fuck something up.
See, the whole thing that people think that there is a manhole cover flying through space at approximately 125,000 miles an hour is because that is fast enough to completely negate the effects of leaving our atmosphere. Because that didn't just get up to that speed over time. That was 0 to 125,000 miles an hour instantaneously. It didn't. It was going 125,000 miles an hour when it left our atmosphere. So it's theoretically possible that it going that fast just completely bypassed it, leaving our atmosphere entirely in terms of
That
the
is-
effects.
That is fair because when you. I mean, obviously, I know nothing concrete about physics, but when I think about the effects of leaving the atmosphere and enter. Stuff usually burns because of the immense amount of friction generated just by hitting the atmosphere. And, wind resistance doesn't seem like something that could start a fire when you're driving around in a car, but when you're going, I don't even know how fast on average a rocket re-enters atmosphere, but I'm gonna guess it could be in the thousands of miles per
Yeah.
hour.
It's 30 miles an hour. It just looks hot.
It just does
It's got
that.
flames painted on it.
But no, I would imagine, going at that kind of speed, there's a ton of friction just ready to burn up whatever is re-entering the atmosphere, burning up things that are trying to leave the atmosphere, flying it fast enough. And you have to be above a certain velocity to actually get out of the atmosphere. It's called the escape velocity. But, if you're going fast enough and you're something as streamlined as a manhole cover, well, I say streamlined, flat surface on two sides, if you're going fast enough, you're not really going to spend enough time in atmosphere to be burning up from the friction. Like, you're just going to be gone. And once it hits the vacuum of space, there's nothing to really, unless it slams into something else in space. So, I mean, it could have burned up, but it also, I could see it easily not, and just going on the prowl.
Yeah, just fucking. How long have we been recording?
We started at
hour
like
and a
8, didn't we?
Goddamn.
Sully said this could easily be the longest one.
I have so much knowledge.
So much
And
of
it
We
that
haven't even
knowledge.
talked about quasars or anything else.
Oh my god,
And it-
quasars.
No,
And like it,
no,
it hasn't
no.
even let up either.
What do
Like
you
it's
wanna know
just been
about
conversation,
quasars?
conversation.
Jesus.
I just,
Maybe that can
I was
be
trying
the
to
next
think.
week's topic.
Space.
Maybe
Part
we
2?
can yeah.
Or, do something else, then have space come back.
Oh, so listen,
the
reason
one
I know
after,
so much
maybe.
about quasars is because they're black holes.
Yeah. See, I knew that a black hole could become a quasar. I just, it's been such a long time. Like, when I was in, I think it was junior year, I wrote a whole 5-page essay on black holes, but that's been, over 7 or 8 years now, and I don't remember a lot of the information. But I definitely want to delve into the next time we do this,
Dude, I got quasars.
and I'll come with actual
the
information.
Kerr metric, the Einstein-Rosen theory. I'll tell you so much.
And I've also heard the words Hawking radiation thrown around, and I don't know anything about that
I
yet.
can tell you about that too. Oh my god. We're titling the next episode Black Holes. This was space. Next episode's Black Holes.
This was more just general technology and fun facts than even space. I mean, it was more space than anything, but we deviated quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's official. We are no longer a normal podcast. We are a space-themed podcast.
Good God.
I'm so okay with it.
Education themed.
Well, it's
I don't
time for
know,
me to go back to
and-
school.
Fuck your education.
Listen,
I'm just
my-
talking out my ass. I fucking love
Somebody's got to
space.
educate, because this state is now like 50th in education.
50 out of 51st. Let's go.
All right. Well, anyway, this has been the Road Closed podcast. I hope you like space as much as I do, because we're going to be talking about it.
Lots of
Expect
space.
at least 2 episodes of space in your future. Anyway, Road Closed. Thanks for joining. Come again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.